Okay, well, we couldn't be more excited with our special guest tonight, actually, Lamont White, certified dating coach, matchmaker, couples counselor. You can imagine we have a lot to talk about. Lamont
Yes.
White, otherwise known as the gay dating coach, is the owner of BetterWayToMeet.com, a professional matchmaking, dating coaching, and couples counseling service for gay men in the U.S. When you started it in 2014, Lamont has matched hundreds of single guys and even helped a few guys get married. Nationally
Ooh.
recognized as a relationship expert for gay men and helping gay men maintain healthy relationships. And you have an undergrad degree in psychology, a graduate degree in professional community counseling, and you're a certified matchmaker. Lamont, you reside in Atlanta. Welcome to Tags Live.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I'm happy to be here, guys.
Well, so much to get into. I mean, let's just get
Yes.
this out of the way first, though. How did you become a matchmaker? I mean, you've heard of the Millionaire Matchmaker. I used to watch her
Yeah.
religiously. Now we finally have a gay matchmaker.
So
and,
excited.
Yeah, tell us how
Yeah.
you got into it.
Yeah, so Patty and I actually got our certification at the same matchmaking.
What?
What?
I
Yes.
interviewed her several years ago, and she was so fun. Yeah.
A great spirit. And, what I like about being certified is you get to learn the business, the science behind matchmaking. It's not just my gut feeling of,
Mhm.
oh, I think the two of you might be a match. No. And it's totally different when it comes to gay men because we don't subscribe to some of the stuff that the straight people do. We're really, really different. And I will tell you, my background is a little weird. I've been doing therapy for a long time with gay men, but I learned that we do not know how to date. We don't know how to argue. We don't know how to flirt. We don't know how to
Right.
shoot our shot. So I went back and got my certification so that I can teach gay men how to flirt, how to argue, and to stay in a healthy relationship.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So you mentioned that you saw that gay men did not know how to flirt. What would you suggest to someone who's just recently out of a long-term relationship and just is jumping into the dating pool right now? What are your recommendations? Because that's
Talking
me
about yourself,
personally.
Cody? Yeah.
I am talking about myself.
You
You have
know me. I got you. I would say definitely take your time. You have to
Okay.
rediscover who you are outside of a relationship. So that means reconnecting with your friends, your tribe, possibly doing some therapy so that you can heal,
Yes,
figuring out
amen.
what your interests are now. Take a list also of like what do you now want in your next relationship?
Okay. I got to write a list. That sounds like what that is
Short list.
now.
Short list.
Oh, okay. You sure? I can have 20 things.
Sir, no, like five or six core characteristics that you want in your new relationship, and stick to it.
Okay. All right.
Well,
5
I'm
or
going to
6.
do
I
that
can
same
do that.
list thing as well. 'Cause
Okay.
I
Let's do
believe
it
in
together.
putting things out in the universe. So I'm a big
Mhm.
proponent of that. Do you think it's easier today to meet your partner as gay men because of the apps or is it a little bit more challenging than say 15, 20 years ago?
It is much more easier for you to meet your guy either on a dating app or social media. More than 60% of people have met their partner on some form of social media. So that
Okay.
means you cannot hide a light under a box and expect people to see it. So that means you have to be present on social media with your face, with your name, where you live, so that people can see you. That means you also have to be outside at different events so that you can meet a great guy.
I like
Wow.
that. Follow up just to that is it sounds like you need to do if you're really seriously looking, you have to kind of combine. I love to go out and meet people in person, and I'm really good at that, but
Mhm.
I don't always do so well like on the apps.
Yeah,
But there's a new dating app, Archer, that we were
yeah,
talking about, and they keep bugging my phone, but I should probably put some effort into that as well. Not
yeah.
bugging, I change my vocabulary.
You said what you said.
No, it's the universe telling you that you should try a different way of meeting guys because most dating apps, guys are using it wrong. They might put like their torso or a blank picture. I say the way that you can successfully use a dating app is putting normal pictures that are clear, that are current, that tell the story of who you are. Put your name, fill the entire profile out, like your age, your height, your weight, your sexual position as well. Right?
Okay.
Don't want to waste anybody's time.
Hey, we're a sex podcast here. We have no problems with
Yes.
that, but
Right,
we
right.
got that down.
And say what you're looking for in a partner, right? If you do it that way, you will still get the, crazy pictures and all that type of stuff and
Mhm.
nudes. But guys will look at you differently and say, wait a minute, he looks like he's serious about meeting somebody.
Yes, I love that. You know what though? The torso gets the boys, but I'm just putting that out there.
You can put a gym picture, with a shirtless
Okay.
one, but we also need to see your face.
That's true. I see. I definitely see
Hey, Cody.
that. Yes. And you mentioned putting down your sexual position on your dating profile. We did a story not too long ago about the difference between tops and bottoms and the way that they think. In your opinion, how big of an issue is sexual compatibility in a gay relationship?
So I think sexual compatibility is one of the core components of gay relationships.
Hmm.
You can test me out if you want, but when we come to what you desire,
Hmm.
it's okay. I do think that, and we looked at a number of studies, most gay men that are married are in long-term relationships, 5, 10 years. There's some flexibility there, which means
Okay.
there's versatility. It's not every day, it's not every week. It might just be on birthdays or Christmas or holidays. There's some flexibility.
Hanukkah.
Right, Hanukkah. No surprise. I'll let you sit on it and have a good time. So I think it's fine to stick to what you like, but if you're having a hard time finding love, open your horizons and try to be a little bit more flexible sexually.
Mm. Okay, all right. And a quick follow-up on that. In your opinion, what are some other issues that one should consider when picking a partner?
Core values. Listen, that has nothing to do with what the person looks like. I'll
Mhm.
say it again. Core values, no matter how cute, handsome, whatever he looks like, that has nothing to do with who he is as a person. So if you value honesty, transparency, advocacy, health, spirituality, you
Yes.
need to know that for yourself so that when you meet a guy, you're looking to see if there's compatibility there.
Okay, I love that. That's
Great
amazing.
advice. Well, one of the things that I've noticed in the last couple of guys that I've met, if we're going to make it personal here, is being non-committal. In other words, there's chemistry. We have a lot in common. I can think of 2 recent people, and it just seems like they don't want to commit to the next outing. And do you find that a lot of guys today, gay men in particular, I also talk to some of my hetero friends, that people don't want to commit that often?
So you say commit to a second or third date,
Thank
or
you. Yeah,
commit to a
that more
relationship?
that second or third date. Forget about the relationship, at least getting to the second, third date.
Yeah, so there's something about you that the guy says, "Oh, he's handsome, he's gorgeous, he's cool. I like the conversation." But there's something that is missing for him to say, "I want to take it to the next level." So you can
Right.
do 2 things. One, you can move on, just
Right.
like
Usually
literally,
what I'm doing, yeah.
just move on. Or, which is a lot of people don't like doing this, is have that uncomfortable conversation
Wow.
and say, "Hey, I really like our first date. I thought I had a great time with you. I like the way you smelled. The energy was great. Seems like you don't want to go on a second date. Can you tell me why?"
I like
Ooh.
that. Yeah, that one I could do with one in particular. The second one, it was more, he didn't even, he kept nursing the conversation, and we never even got on the first date. And it was
Mhm.
stringing me along, it seemed.
And I'm very much let's talk about it. And I didn't say let's text about it. I didn't say let's tweet about it. Let's email. Let's verbally have that conversation, because I think some of the younger guys, they like to text, and you miss a lot of nuances when you have that verbal communication, and you are starting to see how you two might handle conflict.
Hmm.
And if you're going to stay married, you're going to stay in a long-term relationship, you have to manage conflict successfully.
If I could just do a quick follow-up on that,
Oh
Cody.
yeah, go
There
ahead. You
was
go.
well, there was a recent
We're
article.
both chomping at the bit now. I see the
Oh,
wheels turning.
only because this kind of had to, I think I may have answered my own question. There was this whole article that came out in Queerty recently, and where gay guys were sharing the reasons why they think they're undateable. And
Okay.
there was a lot of responses in that, many you can imagine on the list. I would imagine that advice where you can either ask why you're undateable, or I guess do a little bit more introspective therapy and get that confidence you need so that you don't feel like you're undateable. I feel like I'm dateable, but there's so many in this article that didn't.
Yeah. Guys date the wrong way. They think a date is supposed to be like a job interview.
Okay.
And they sit down and they ask these questions like, well, why are you single? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your great qualities? No one wants to perform. So,
Yes.
like, don't ask those questions. A date is really about having a fun time with the person while getting to know them and staying out of the friend zone.
Love that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those three things, you do those three things, you will get a second, a third, and a fourth date.
Oh,
Wow.
rewatching
That's
this
amazing.
video. Go ahead, Cody.
So when you were shooting your shot and you constantly are getting rejection, because I have been in the dating pool for maybe about 2 months now. I feel like I get equal amounts of, acceptance and rejection. How do you recommend that people keep their self-esteem up as far as wanting to get out there and put themselves out there?
Great question. So rejection is a part of the process. I'll take a pause. It is part of the process to find the love of your life. Sometimes it has nothing to do with you. Sometimes it is guys, they don't know what they want, and you know what you want. And when you all meet each other, the guy's just like, I don't know what I want, so I'm just going to say no. Sometimes you're just not the person's cup of tea. And that's good. The guy should reject you and say, hey, you know what? I know you're into open relationships and I'm into monogamy. I'm not going to let's not waste each other's time. It has nothing to do with like you're a bad person. It just means you all just don't align on the things that what you want. And so many times we take that personal. And they say, well, I need to change who I am. No, sir. No, ma'am. Keep being who you are, as long as it is something that is positive and something that you're evolving on as well.
Wow. I love that. And you know what? I think a lot of people, they really have an issue rejecting people in a humane way, or in a way that really connects to people and doesn't treat them like an object as well. So I think that is a component as well. I don't know. What do you think?
I will tell you, adult, mature men who are healthy, emotionally aware, they appreciate rejection. Where a guy says, you know what? I had a great date with you, but looks like we're looking for two different things.
Wow.
I don't see this going anywhere.
Thank so
you,
much
sir.
time. Yeah.
You see how nice that was? You see how nice and respectful that was?
I loved it. You should reject me all the time, boo.
I'll do it for you. So, Lamont, you also have a show every Wednesday called Shoot Your Shot. It's on YouTube, I believe, or Instagram Live.
Yes. So every Wednesday, sometimes I'm on Instagram, sometimes on YouTube, but it's a fun, silly, but effective way for guys who want to meet each other on a social media platform. So I interview guys to get to know who they are. I allow the audience to ask them questions, and guys, they shoot their shots, and they have been like literally going on dates across the country, hanging out over the weekend. Guys are like, oh, we've been together for 8 months. And then there's some drama also.
That's what I want to know.
Well, and one of your recent shows, Cody and I were laughing at, you had a guy on there who was literally giving a tour of his beautiful house. And it was like a house. He also then went through every bedroom and said what position we would be doing the deed in, which was really hot. And when you asked him, well, how long have you been seeing this guy? He went on one date and expected the guy to move in with him. And we were like glued to this, what's Lamont going to say? And he's like, you can't expect to have a relationship after one date, move in like that. Do you find that our expectations often in the gay community, like we move way too quickly to moving into marriage and those sorts of things.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that guy wanted someone to move in on the first date. I'm like, go find a homeless man. Maybe he'll move in with you on the first date.
Gladly.
Live, right? And he'll probably steal your TV while you're away at work. So don't do it. I do.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I do think that like sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. Like we may want a guy to be big into fitness or spirituality or be financially stable. But the question is, are you into fitness? Are you spiritually sound? Are you financially stable? And it doesn't mean that opposites can't attract, but you need to find compatibility. If you don't date more, you won't learn like what is appropriate and what is a good fit for you.
Wow. That's amazing. I kind of want to dig into more of these wild stories that you have. What is like something anecdotal what's crazy? What's your craziest story as far as gay dating coaching is concerned?
I think the denial that a lot of guys are uncomfortable with saying who they are, like presenting their most authentic selves. Like if you are a bottom, like you like to be penetrated, that is your thing. Do not deceive people and tell them that you are versatile. Because they're going to be expecting at some point that what's going to happen, and then you're going to disappoint them, and then everybody is mad. I think also if you are a person that cannot be in a monogamous relationship, you just know like that's not your behavior. Your history tells you the same thing. Don't get in a relationship with someone where it's going to be a good fit. It's the denial of who you are. I think as gay men, we have been taught to lie about who we are. So we do that on a daily basis. We lie to ourselves instead of doing the hard work where like you literally sit down and say, who the hell am I?
Yeah.
Or I want to be something different. Let me do the hard work, the journey to be who I really want to be.
Great.
Wow, this is so enlightening. I love it.
We definitely have to ask about Betterway to Meet, betterwaytomeet.com. It is your website that you started, and you have different packages on there on VIP matchmaking. You have things like you could work with many of the counselors you have on there, a dating coach session. In general, how would you describe the site, and how should people approach it if they want a more one-on-one type of experience?
I tell people, so a lot of people know me from Instagram as the gay dating coach. The business that I have, which I started way before Instagram, almost 10 years we're celebrating, Betterway to Meet, that's for guys who are serious about finding love. That's for guys who are like, hey, I don't know how to date. I need help. So the staff at Betterway to Meet, we work with guys all over the United States. We work with them individually to make sure that they are dateable before we send them on dates, because matchmaking is not like buying a car where you can say, this is the make, the model, the price range I want. You have to be marketable and dateable as well.
I'm sorry, I don't mean, can I pause you for 2 seconds and ask you what I'm really apologize, but what is being dateable? Because I'm really kind of confused about that term.
Yeah, so dateable is being what you seek to be. Dateable is also being confident. It's having qualities within you that other guys, when they see that, they smile and they want to be with you. Okay. So the guy I would say that is not dateable. An example of that is a guy that does not have any interests, any hobbies. All he wants to do is sit at home and go to work. You're not dateable, sir, because no one wants to come home and so you just sit on the couch, right? Wow. A guy who is not honest, you're not dateable because no one wants to date a liar. It's about having core values that guys appreciate and want in a relationship.
Okay. All right. So I apologize for interrupting you again.
No, that's fine. Yeah. I'll also add that does not include a gym body.
Okay.
You can have a gym body and not still be dateable, right?
And real quick, it's probably the short answer that we need on this, but open relationships, do they work? Do they not?
So there are all different types of relationships. There are monogamous ones, there are open relationships, there are agreements, there are polyamorous relationships. All of those types of relationships, they work. They're successful. What makes each of those types of relationships work well, if you do two things. You got to communicate and you got to manage conflict. None of those relationships will be successful if you don't talk about your ever-changing desires, your problems, your concerns, and also if you don't manage conflict. When I say manage conflict, that means talking about the elephants in the room. If you're pissed off about something, hey, babe, I didn't appreciate how you did this. It made me feel this way. You know, a lot of people look negatively on open relationships or agreements or polyamorous relationships because we have been taught that those are not real relationships, that the only type of relationship is between two monogamous people. But that comes from, you know, Christian, heterosexual, white beliefs about like ownership. And I just feel like as gay men, we should challenge those beliefs and we get to write our own stories about who we are.
That's right.
Well stated.
Love it.
Lamont White, so happy to have you on. We have to have you back for sure because we barely scratched the surface, but
Totally.
tools we can use here. I know our audience is going to love it. How can people follow you besides going to the website? Of course, betterwaytomeet.com, but how do you want people to follow you besides that?
Sure. They can check out my Instagram handle is The Gay Dating Coach, or on YouTube where all of my content is on the YouTube page. It's also The Gay Dating Coach.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Fabulous. Thank you, Lamont.